Welcome to Doomsday Aftermath. Consider subscribing to this channel. The survival story you're about to hear is intense, and the gameplay is even crazier. Lock your doors, and let's begin. The scratching stopped about 20 minutes ago, and that's what scares me most. When they're making noise, at least you know where they are. My name's Halston Veer. And right now I'm wedged between a commercial dishwasher and a grease-caked wall in the kitchen of a diner I've never even eaten at, trying not to breathe too loud while something moves around in the dining area just beyond this door. Been here 11 hours now. One more to go before I risk moving. That's the rule I made for myself when I crawled in here at 4:30 this morning. 12 hours of absolute silence, no matter what. The smell is what gets to you first. Not the zombies, though, yeah, they reek like spoiled meat left in a hot car. I'm talking about being stuck in a space like this. Old fryer oil that's soaked into the concrete floor, rotting food in the walk-in cooler that lost power 3 days ago. My own sweat and piss because I couldn't hold it anymore around hour 7 and had to go in an empty industrial mayonnaise bucket I found under the prep station. You adapt to it after a while. Your nose just gives up. But let me back up. You want to know how I ended up in Rico's diner on Highway 61, practically spooning with a dishwasher that probably hasn't worked since 2015, while dead people shuffle around looking for something warm to bite into. Yeah. So do I, honestly. The whole thing still feels like some nightmare I haven't woken up from. 4 days ago, I was in my apartment in Greatton, which is this nowhere town about 40 miles from any real city. Population maybe 8,000. The kind of place where everybody knows everybody, and the biggest news is usually about high school football or someone's meth lab getting busted. I worked at Fenwick Auto Parts counter guy, spent my days looking up alternators and brake pads for people who always seemed annoyed I couldn't do it faster. I lived alone, 32 years old, and living alone in a one-bedroom place above the pharmacy on Main Street. My ex-girlfriend Dorsey had moved out 8 months prior, took the cat and the decent furniture, left me with a futon and a coffee table I'm pretty sure she found on the curb. I wasn't exactly thriving, but I was getting by, you know? Work, home, sometimes the bar on weekends. Simple, boring, safe. That Wednesday started normal. I remember the date, September 18th. Woke up at 7, showered, made some instant coffee that tasted like burned dirt. Checked my phone while I got dressed and saw I had like 30 missed calls from my mom. 30. My mom barely calls me once a month, let alone 30 times in one night. My stomach did this weird flip thing. I called her back, and she answered before the first ring even finished. Halston, oh God. Halston, are you okay? Are you safe? Lock your doors right now, do you hear me? Lock everything. She was crying. My mom doesn't cry. Not at funerals, not at weddings, not ever. She's this tough farm woman who once set her own broken finger with duct tape and a popsicle stick. Mom, what's going on? What? Turn on the news. Any channel. Just turn it on and then lock your doors and don't open them for anyone. Anyone, Halston. I'm serious. I put her on speaker and turned on the TV. Every channel was the same thing. Emergency broadcast stuff, people screaming in the background, shaky footage from phones. A woman with blood all over her face was attacking a paramedic, her teeth actually in his neck. The camera person was screaming. The paramedic was screaming. Then the woman turned toward the camera, and her eyes were just wrong. Cloudy, empty, like looking at a doll. They're saying it's some kind of infection, my mom said. Started in the cities last night. People getting sick and then getting violent. Really violent, Halston. They're biting people, and those people get sick too, and then they start biting, and it's spreading so fast. Your Aunt Kelby called from Denver, and she said the hospitals are overrun. There's riots. The police can't control it. I sat down on my futon, still holding the phone. On the TV, a news anchor was trying to read from a script, but you could see his hands shaking. Behind him, people were running past the windows of the studio. Someone fell. Someone else fell on top of them. Grayton's too small for that stuff, I said, but my voice sounded weak even to me. We're in the middle of nowhere. It's probably just the big cities. Halston Eugene Veer, you listen to me right now. She used my full name, which meant she wasn't playing around. Lock your doors, fill your bathtub with water. Get any food you have and put it somewhere you can reach it fast. If you have to leave, you leave. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to help anyone. You just survive. Do you understand me? Yeah, I said. Yeah, okay. I love you. Your father loves you. We're locking up the house. We've got the guns and plenty of ammunition. You don't have a gun, do you? I didn't. Never saw the point. Get something. A knife, a bat, anything. Promise me. I promise. She hung up. I sat there for probably 5 minutes, just staring at the TV while the world fell apart in high definition. The anchor stopped reading from the script. He just stood up and walked off camera. The feed cut to some automated emergency broadcast, that awful tone, then a message telling people to stay indoors and await further instructions from local authorities. I got up and locked my door, checked the window locks too. Then I did what my mom said, filled the bathtub, grabbed what little food I had, box of crackers, can of soup, some peanut butter, 3 beers in the fridge. I put it all on the kitchen counter where I could see it. Then I waited. Around noon, I heard the first screams. Real ones, not from the TV. They came from somewhere down on Main Street. Car alarms started going off. More screaming. I went to my window and looked down at the street below. Mrs. Parrish, who ran the flower shop, was running, just full-on sprinting down the middle of the road, which was weird because Mrs. Parrish had to be 70, and I'd never seen her move faster than a shuffle. Behind her, 3 people were chasing her, running in this weird, jerky way, their arms out, making these sounds that weren't quite human, wet, choking noises. They caught her right in front of the old movie theater. All 3 of them just fell on her, and I turned away from the window because I couldn't watch what happened next. But I could hear it. Oh God, I could hear her screaming, and then the screaming changed pitch, and then it stopped. My phone rang. My boss, Garrett, from the auto parts store. Halston, don't come in today. Don't come in ever. I'm shutting the store and getting my family out of town. You should do the same. Get out of Greatton. Head north, away from the cities. Find somewhere rural and hole up. This is bad. This is really bad. He hung up before I could answer. I spent the next hour watching the street from my window. More people running. More of those things chasing them. A police car showed up and 2 cops got out with their guns drawn. They shot at one of the infected, I guess that's what we're calling them, and it went down. But then it got back up. Took 6 shots before it stayed down. The cops looked at each other, and you could see the fear even from my window up on the 2nd floor. Then more infected came around the corner. Too many. The cops got back in their car and drove off fast. One of the infected threw itself at the car and bounced off the hood, got run over by the back tire. Kept crawling after the car with both legs bent wrong. That's when I decided my mom was right. I needed to leave. I packed fast. Backpack with the food, some clothes, my phone charger even though I knew the power wouldn't last. Filled 2 water bottles. Grabbed the biggest knife from my kitchen drawer, one of those chef knives Dorsey left behind. put on my work boots, the steel-toed ones, jeans, and a hoodie. I was about to leave when I stopped. Something felt wrong about just walking out that door. I went back to the window and looked at the street. Seemed clear for the moment. But I counted at least 4 bodies on the pavement. One of them was moving a little. Twitching. The smart thing would have been to wait until dark. Move quiet, move careful. But I panicked. I was scared and I wanted to get to my truck and get out of town before it got worse. So I went. Biggest mistake of my life. I made it down the stairs okay. The pharmacy below my apartment was locked up, dark inside. The street was quiet except for car alarms in the distance and what sounded like gunshots from somewhere north. I could see my truck parked half a block down. Old Ford Ranger, nothing fancy, but it ran decent and I kept the tank mostly full out of habit. I walked fast but tried not to run. Running attracts attention. I learned that playing paintball as a kid. The movement catches the eye. So I walked fast with my head down, knife in my pocket but hand on it. I made it to the truck, got the keys out, unlocked the door. That's when I heard the sound behind me. That wet clicking sound, like someone trying to breathe through fluid. I turned and one of them was right there, maybe 10 feet away. It used to be a man. Young guy, maybe early 20s. He was wearing a Sonic drive-in uniform and his name tag said, Trent. There was blood all down the front of his shirt and his left arm was bent at an angle that made my stomach turn over. His eyes locked onto me and he made this sound. This horrible gurgling moan. And then he moved toward me. I got in the truck fast and slammed the door. He hit the window a second later, his face smashing against the glass, leaving a smear of blood and something else I didn't want to identify. I jammed the key in the ignition and turned it. Nothing. Turned it again. The engine cranked but didn't catch. The infected guy was clawing at the window now and the glass was starting to crack. I could see other movement down the street. More of them, attracted by the noise. Third try. The engine caught and roared to life. I threw it in drive and stomped the gas. The truck lurched forward and the infected guy fell away from the window. I saw him in the side mirror, getting up again, starting to chase. I drove, didn't look back. Just drove. Main Street was chaos. Cars abandoned in the road. Fires burning in some of the buildings. Bodies, so many bodies. Some of them moving, some not. I swerved around a minivan that had crashed into the front of the hardware store and nearly hit a woman who ran out in front of me. She was covered in blood, and I couldn't tell if she was infected or just hurt. I didn't stop to find out. The road out of town was clogged with cars all trying to leave at once. People honking, screaming at each other. Some guy got out of his car and ran up to someone else's vehicle and started punching the window. 2 cars rear-ended each other, and I watched someone get out and immediately get tackled by one of the infected. I couldn't get through. The road was completely blocked. So I turned around and took Route 61 instead, the old highway that barely anyone used anymore since they built the interstate. It ran east out of town, through farmland, and nothing else for miles. That's where I should have gone. East, away from everything, into the empty parts of the state where there's more cows than people. But I didn't. I saw the traffic jam on Route 61 too, half a mile up, and I panicked again, made another stupid decision. I turned onto County Road 8, which was basically a glorified dirt path that ran parallel to the highway. Figured I could follow it for a few miles, then cut back to the highway once I was past the congestion. The road got worse the farther I went, less maintained. Potholes everywhere. I was going maybe 30 miles an hour, truck bouncing over ruts, when I came around a bend and saw a car stopped sideways across the road. I hit the brakes. Looked like an accident, maybe. The driver's door was open. No one inside that I could see. I sat there trying to decide what to do. Back up and find another way? Get out and move the car? Just ram through it? That's when they came out of the corn. 4 of them, infected, moving through the stalks on both sides of the road. They must have heard my truck. They were spread out, coming from different angles. And I realized, with this sick feeling in my gut, that they were coordinating. Not like pack hunters exactly, but there was something organized about it. Something that suggested they weren't completely mindless. I threw the truck in reverse and hit the gas. The truck shot backward, and I heard a thump as I hit something. Didn't look. Just kept reversing until I could spin around and head back the way I'd come. But more of them were coming out of the corn behind me now. The fields were full of them. I could see movement everywhere, stalks rustling, shapes appearing. I was boxed in. I did the only thing I could think of. I drove straight into the cornfield to my right, plowing through the stalks, praying I didn't hit a ditch or a fence post. The truck lurched and bounced. Something scraped the undercarriage. The corn was thick, and I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. But I kept going. An infected person appeared directly in front of me, and I didn't have time to swerve. I felt the impact, saw the body go under the front bumper. The truck bounced as the tires rolled over it. I kept going. I broke through the corn into this open area, an empty field that had already been harvested. Flat ground. I could see a building in the distance. Looked like some kind of industrial structure, maybe a grain silo or processing facility. But between me and the building, there were more infected. Dozens of them. They were just standing there in the field, swaying slightly, like they were waiting for something. I turned the wheel hard and drove along the edge of the corn, tires churning up dirt and loose stalks. The infected started moving toward me, but I had speed on my side. I got ahead of them and found a break in the corn that looked like a farm road. I took it. The road curved north, and I followed it for maybe 2 miles, going as fast as I dared on the rutted surface. I passed a farmhouse that was on fire. Past a tractor that was still running, door open, no driver. Past a school bus on its side in a ditch. Finally, the farm road connected with Highway 61 again. Past the traffic jam, the road ahead looked clear. I merged on and drove. Fast, way too fast for the curvy highway, but I didn't care. I just wanted distance. I made it maybe 20 miles before I had to stop for gas. The truck was running on fumes, and I'd passed a few stations that were either on fire or packed with abandoned cars. But there was one, this little independent place called Buck's, that looked quiet. One car at the pumps, no people visible. I pulled in careful, got out with the knife in my hand. The place was silent except for wind and a flag snapping on a pole. The car at the pumps still had the nozzle in it. The driver's door was open. I looked inside and saw blood on the seats, lots of it, but no body. I grabbed the nozzle from that car and put it in my truck, squeezed the handle. Nothing happened. The pump was off. I'd need to go inside and turn it on, assuming the power was still working. The door to the station was propped open with a case of motor oil. I stepped inside and immediately gagged. The smell was horrible. Copper and rot and something else. Something sweet and wrong. Behind the counter, I could see a pair of legs sticking out. Work boots, blue jeans, not moving. I walked around the counter slow, knife ready. The body belonged to a heavy-set guy, maybe 50. His throat was torn open and his eyes were staring at nothing. He'd been dead for a while, long enough that the blood was starting to dry. I found the pump controls and flipped the switch for pump 3. Heard the hum of electricity. The pumps were still working. I should have just filled up and left. But I could see through the window that the sky was getting dark and I knew I needed supplies. Food, water, anything I could carry. I grabbed a plastic bag from behind the counter and started loading it. Beef jerky, chips, candy bars, anything that wouldn't spoil. There was a cooler along the back wall, and I got bottles of water and some energy drinks. I found a first aid kit under the counter and took that too. I was heading for the door when I heard something from the back room. A shuffling sound, then a wheeze. I should have run. But the stupid, curious part of my brain made me look. The back room was dark. I could barely see inside. But there was something moving in there. Something big. I backed toward the door, not taking my eyes off the dark doorway to the back room. Whatever was in there made a sound, this low clicking that raised every hair on my neck. Then it came through the doorway, and I saw what it was. It used to be a woman. I could tell by the shape, by the long hair. But she was on all fours, crawling like an animal. Her neck was bent at this impossible angle, so her head was tilted sideways. And her jaw was hanging open too far, dislocated maybe, so her mouth was this huge gaping thing. She saw me and screamed. Not a human scream, something else. High-pitched and warbling. I ran. Got to my truck as she came out of the station, still on all fours, but moving fast. Way too fast. I got the door open and threw myself inside, and she hit the side of the truck hard enough to rock it. Her face appeared at the window, that dislocated jaw snapping at the glass. The gas nozzle was still in my truck. I didn't care. I started the engine and drove off with it still attached. It ripped out of the tank with a spray of gasoline, and I saw it whip around in the side mirror. Sparks as it scraped the pavement. The crawling woman chased me for maybe 50 yards and then stopped in the middle of the road, threw her head back, and made that warbling scream again. I drove until I couldn't see her anymore. Until the gas station was miles behind me. Then I pulled over on the shoulder and threw up. When I could breathe again, I checked my fuel gauge. 3/4 full. I'd gotten enough gas before I ripped the nozzle out. That was something. The sun was setting now, and the road ahead was empty. I kept driving east on Highway 61, no real destination in mind, just away. Away from Greatton, away from the infected, away from everything. I passed through 2 more small towns. Both looked abandoned. Cars in the streets, buildings dark, no signs of life. In the second town, I saw words spray-painted on the side of a grocery store. Everyone dead or gone. No help coming. Night fell, and I had to turn on my headlights. The road got lonely in the dark. No other traffic. No lights from houses or street lamps. Just my headlights cutting through the black and the white lines of the highway stretching ahead. Around 11 p.m., I started getting drowsy. I'd been running on adrenaline, but it was fading, and exhaustion was setting in. I needed to stop. Needed to rest. But where? That's when I saw the diner. Rico's Diner, the sign said. It was one of those old chrome affairs that probably looked cool in the 50s, but now just looked dated and sad. The parking lot was empty, except for one car, an old sedan with a flat tire. I pulled in and parked away from the building, near the road where I could leave fast if needed. Turned off the engine and just sat there for a while, watching the diner. No lights on inside. No movement that I could see. I was so tired. My eyes kept trying to close. I knew I couldn't drive much longer without risking an accident. And the diner looked empty. Safe. I got out with my knife and my backpack. Walked up to the front door, slow and careful. The door was unlocked. I pushed it open and stepped inside. The smell hit me immediately. Old grease and something rotten. But no bodies that I could see. The dining area had maybe 10 booths and a counter with stools. Everything was dusty, like the place had been closed for a while, even before the outbreak. I checked the bathrooms. Empty. Checked the kitchen. Empty except for old cooking equipment and a walk-in cooler that was dark and silent. It seemed safe. I found a booth near the back, where I could see both the front door and the kitchen entrance. Slid in and put my backpack next to me. Pulled out a bottle of water and some beef jerky and made myself eat, even though I wasn't hungry. I was halfway through the jerky when I heard the sound outside. Footsteps, multiple sets, shuffling on the pavement. I froze with the jerky halfway to my mouth. The footsteps got closer. I could see shapes moving past the windows. 5, 6, maybe 7 of them. They were walking along the highway, and they'd seen my truck. One of them stopped at my truck, started pawing at the door handle, making those wet clicking sounds. I slid down in the booth, trying to make myself invisible. If they came inside, I was trapped. The only exits were the front door and the back door in the kitchen. If they came in the front, I could maybe make it to the back. Maybe. More of them were gathering around my truck now. I could hear them moaning, hear their hands slapping against the metal and glass. They knew someone had been in it recently. They could probably smell me. One of them left the truck and started walking toward the diner. I grabbed my knife and crawled out of the booth, staying low. Moved toward the kitchen, as quiet as I could. Got behind the swinging door and waited. The front door of the diner opened with a creak. Footsteps inside, slow and shuffling. The infected person was breathing hard, this raspy, wet sound. I could smell them now. That rotting meat smell so strong it made my eyes water. The footsteps came into the dining area. I could see through the small window in the kitchen door. It was a man in a business suit, tie hanging loose, one arm missing below the elbow. His face was gray, and his eyes were that cloudy, dead color. He walked between the booths, his head moving back and forth like he was searching. He stopped at the booth where I'd been sitting, bent down and sniffed the seat. Then he turned toward the kitchen. I backed away from the door, looking for somewhere to hide. The kitchen was small. Prep stations, stoves, the dishwasher, some metal shelving, the walk-in cooler. I could hear him coming. The door swung open, and he shuffled into the kitchen. I was wedged behind the dishwasher by then, pressed into the narrow space between it and the wall. Holding my knife, trying not to breathe, he walked right past me. So close I could have reached out and touched him. He went to the walk-in cooler and pulled the door open. Stood there for a moment, looking inside at the darkness and the rotting food. Then he moved on. He checked the rest of the kitchen, moving slow and methodical. Looked under the prep stations, behind the shelving. I watched through a gap between the dishwasher and the wall, my heart slamming in my chest so hard I thought he'd hear it. He walked back toward me, and I pressed myself tighter against the wall. A piece of grease-caked metal was digging into my back. I didn't move, didn't breathe. He stopped right in front of the dishwasher. I could see his legs, his good hand hanging at his side, fingers twitching slightly. He stood there for what felt like forever. Then he made this sound, a long, low moan. And I realized he was calling the others. The front door opened again. More footsteps, more shuffling and moaning. They were all coming inside. I heard them moving through the dining area, into the kitchen. 5 or 6 of them, all searching, all hunting for whoever had been in that truck. One of them knocked over a stack of metal pans, and the crash was so loud in the silence that I actually bit my tongue to keep from gasping. They searched for maybe 20 minutes, opening every cabinet, looking in every corner. One of them stood on the other side of the dishwasher for a while, so close I could hear the wheeze of his damaged lungs. But they didn't find me. Eventually, they started to leave. One by one, they shuffled out of the kitchen, back into the dining area, then outside. I stayed frozen in my hiding spot, counting the footsteps, trying to figure out if they were all gone. The last one lingered. I could hear him in the dining area, moving between the booths. He stayed there for a long time. Then finally, I heard the front door creak and his footsteps fading outside. I waited, listened. The diner was silent. I looked at my watch. It was 3:40 in the morning. I'd been hiding behind this dishwasher for over 4 hours, too scared to move. That's when I made my decision. I'd stay here for 12 hours. 12 hours without moving, without making a sound. Let the infected lose interest and wander off. Let them forget about the truck and move on. 12 hours of absolute silence. That was 8 hours ago now. And like I said, the scratching stopped 20 minutes ago. I've been using the time to think, to really process what's happened. The world ended in less than 48 hours. Everything I knew, everyone I knew, probably gone. My mom and dad on their farm. I have to assume they're okay. They're tough, and they're smart, and they have weapons. But I don't know. Can't know. Dorsey, my ex. She was living in the city last I heard. If the infection started in the cities, I try not to think about it. The longer I sit here in this space that smells like old grease and my own piss, the more I realize how alone I am, how quiet the world has become. Before, there was always noise. Traffic, people, TVs, music, something. Now there's just wind and the occasional moan of the infected in the distance. It's eerie. That's the word. Eerie. Like the world is holding its breath. My legs are cramping. I've been in the same position for so long that my left foot fell asleep hours ago. The pins and needle sensation faded into numbness, and now I can't feel it at all. I'm worried about blood clots. Seems stupid to worry about blood clots during a zombie apocalypse, but there it is. I've been going through my supplies mentally, rationing them out. I have maybe 3 days of food if I'm careful. Water for 2 days. After that, I'll need to find more. The walk-in cooler here probably has stuff, but it's been without power for who knows how long. Everything in there is spoiled. I keep thinking about that woman at the gas station. The way she moved on all fours, the way her jaw hung open. That wasn't like the others. The others were slow, shambling. She was fast. Predatory. Are they changing? Evolving? Or was she just different from the start? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. My watch says 6:15 a.m. The sun should be coming up soon. Light seeping in through the windows of the diner. I'll be able to see if any of them are still out there. Just need to stay quiet. Stay still. Another 45 minutes, and then I can move. I close my eyes and try to rest, but every little sound makes them snap back open. The building settling, wind rattling a loose piece of metal somewhere. My own breathing, which sounds way too loud in this confined space. 30 minutes left. I'm going to make it. I've come this far. I've stayed silent and stayed hidden, and in 30 minutes, I can get out of here, get back to my truck and keep moving east. Find somewhere actually safe. Somewhere far from people and cities and infected. Somewhere I can breathe. 20 minutes. That's when I hear it. A new sound. Not shuffling footsteps or moaning. This is different. Crying. Someone is crying in the diner. I freeze, my hand tightening on the knife. The crying is coming from the dining area. It sounds like a child, a little kid, sobbing. My mind races. Is it real? Is it a trap? I've read stories about predators mimicking the sounds of prey. What if the infected can do that? What if they're getting smarter? The crying continues, broken, hitching sobs. Definitely a child. I stay where I am. Every instinct is screaming at me to help, to go see if there's really a kid out there who needs help. But my mom's voice is in my head too. Don't try to help anyone. You just survive. The crying gets louder, more desperate, and then I hear words. Please, someone help me. Please. It's a little girl's voice, maybe 6 or 7 years old. My hand is shaking on the knife. Sweat is running down my face. I've been silent for 11.5 hours, just 30 more minutes. Just stay quiet. Is anyone there? Please, I'm scared. I close my eyes, grit my teeth, stay still. The voice gets closer. She's moving through the dining area toward the kitchen. Hello? I saw a truck outside. Is someone here? The kitchen door creaks open. Please don't hide from me. I'm just a kid. I won't hurt you. I can hear her breathing now. Small, quick breaths. She's in the kitchen. I know you're here. I can smell you. My eyes snap open. That last part, the way she said it, the tone wasn't right. Wasn't like a scared kid. It was flat, empty. Footsteps coming closer. Small footsteps, like a child's. Come out wherever you are, she sings. Same flat tone. I can smell your fear. It smells yummy. Not a child, or not anymore. The footsteps stop right in front of the dishwasher. I hold my breath. Don't move. Don't make a sound. I know you're back there, the voice says. Still that little girl voice, but completely wrong now. I can hear your heart beating. Thump, 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 so fast, so scared. Silence. My lungs are burning. I need to breathe, but I don't dare. Fine, the voice says. You win this round. But I'll be outside, waiting. When you come out, and you will come out, I'll be there. And we'll play a different game. The footsteps move away. The kitchen door swings shut. I wait another 10 seconds, then gasp in air as quietly as I can. My whole body is shaking. That wasn't a child. That was something mimicking a child. Something that could talk and reason and set a trap. This is so much worse than I thought. I check my watch. 7 a.m. 12 hours. I made it. But now I don't know what to do. If that thing is outside waiting, I can't just walk out to my truck. It'll get me. And if there are more of them, if they're learning to mimic voices and set traps, I need a new plan. I carefully shift my position, trying to get blood flowing back into my numb leg. Pins and needles flood through it, and I have to bite down on my hand to keep from making noise. The pain is intense, but I work through it, flexing my toes, rotating my ankle. Once I can feel my leg again, I slowly edge out from behind the dishwasher. Every movement is calculated, tested. I stop if anything creaks or scrapes. It takes me 20 minutes to cross the kitchen to the back door. It's one of those industrial metal doors with a push bar. There's a small window at eye level, and I peek through it carefully. The back of the diner looks out on an empty lot full of weeds and garbage. Beyond that, I can see the highway. No infected visible from this angle. But that doesn't mean they're not there. I look back through the kitchen toward the dining area. Can't see anything from here, but I know that thing, that child mimic, said it would be waiting outside. Maybe it's bluffing. Maybe it already left. Maybe I'm about to walk into an ambush. I test the push bar gently. It's stiff but not locked. I could open this door and run for it. My truck is parked out front, but there might be another vehicle around back. Or I could just run across the lot to the highway and keep going on foot. On foot with barely any supplies in the middle of nowhere during a zombie apocalypse. Great plan, Halston. I pull back from the door and try to think. I need to see what's out front. Need to know if my truck is still there, if those things are still around it. I move back through the kitchen into the dining area, staying low. Crawl to one of the booths by the front window and peek over the edge. My truck is still there, and surrounding it are at least 15 infected. They're just standing there, swaying slightly, waiting. But I don't see the child mimic. Maybe it left. Maybe it got bored. Or maybe it's hiding, waiting for me to show myself. I duck back down and crawl to another window for a different angle. From here, I can see more of the parking lot. There's a dumpster near the edge, and beyond that the road stretches away to the east. Movement catches my eye. Something small darting behind the dumpster. The child mimic. It's still here. I sit with my back against the wall under the window and think about my options. They're not good. Option 1. Make a run for the truck. Fight my way through 15 infected. Hope I can get inside and start the engine before they overwhelm me. Chances of success? Low. Option 2. Sneak out the back and run. Hope I can get far enough away before they notice. Find shelter somewhere else. Chances of success? Slightly better, but still terrible. Option 3. Stay here. Wait them out. Hope they lose interest eventually. Option 4. I look around the diner. Really look at it. The place has been closed for a while, probably months before the outbreak. There might be supplies here I missed. Places to hide that are better than behind a dishwasher. Maybe a way to defend this position if I have to. I decide on option 4. Fortify and wait. I spend the next hour doing a thorough search of the diner. In the back office, I find some paperwork that tells me Rico's closed down 6 months ago due to health code violations. There's a desk, a filing cabinet, a safe that's locked. Under the desk, I find a tire iron. It's rusted but solid. Better than just my knife. In a storage closet, I find cleaning supplies. Bleach, ammonia, some industrial degreaser. I remember reading somewhere that you can make dangerous chemicals by mixing certain cleaners. Not weapons exactly, but maybe useful. The walk-in cooler is as disgusting as I thought. Rotting food, mold, things I can't identify. But on the shelves, I find some canned goods that were stored there. Tomato sauce, beans, soup. The cans are bloated and I wouldn't trust eating from them, but it's something. I also find, in the very back of the cooler, a crowbar. Score. Armed with my new tools, I start reinforcing the diner. I use the crowbar to pry boards off the back of the booths and nail them over the windows. It's not perfect, but it blocks the view from outside. Makes it harder for those things to see if anyone's in here. I push the heavy prep stations in the kitchen against the doors. Not a total blockade, but enough to slow down anyone trying to get in. Then I ration out my supplies. Lay everything on the counter. Beef jerky, chips, candy, water, energy drinks. Maybe 4 days if I'm really careful. The canned goods from the cooler could extend that, but like I said, they look sketchy. I set them aside as emergency backup. I find a spot in the back office where I can sleep, if I can sleep, where I'll hear anyone coming through either door. I drag a booth cushion back there for padding. It's almost noon now. I haven't eaten since the jerky last night. I allow myself half a bag of chips and some water. It's not much, but it's something. Then I sit in the office and listen. The infected outside are making sounds, moaning, shuffling around. I can hear them bumping into my truck occasionally. But they're not trying to get into the diner. Not yet. I wonder how long they'll stay out there. Hours, days, weeks. I wonder if they need to eat, if they get hungry. There's so much I don't know about them. The afternoon passes slowly. I doze a little, but don't really sleep. Every sound jerks me awake. Around 4 p.m., I hear something new. Engines. Cars on the highway. I carefully peek through a gap in the boards over the front window. A convoy is passing by. 3 trucks, a van, some motorcycles. They're moving fast, heading east like I was. The infected react immediately. They leave my truck and start moving toward the highway, chasing the convoy. All of them, including the child mimic who comes out from behind the dumpster. They're fast when they want to be. The convoy pulls away from them easily, but the infected keep chasing, disappearing down the highway. This is my chance. I grab my backpack, the tire iron, the crowbar. Move the prep station away from the back door as quietly as I can. Open the door and slip outside. The back lot is clear. I run to my truck, keys already in my hand. Get inside and lock the doors. Start the engine. It catches on the first try. Thank God. I throw it in reverse and back out of the parking lot onto the highway. Then I shift to drive and gun it east, same direction as the convoy. The infected who were chasing the convoy are spread out along the highway now. I swerve around them, one hand on the wheel, one holding the tire iron just in case. One of them jumps in front of my truck and I hit it going 60. The body flips over the hood and cracks the windshield. I keep driving. In my mirror, I see the child mimic standing in the middle of the road, watching me go. Even from a distance, I swear I can see it smiling. I drive for an hour straight, putting as much distance as possible between me and Rico's diner. The adrenaline is wearing off and exhaustion is crashing over me in waves. I need to stop again soon, but I'm terrified of picking the wrong place. The highway runs through farm country, flat and open. No good hiding spots. Then I see a sign. Rest area 2 miles. Rest areas have bathrooms, vending machines, sometimes indoor spaces. Better than nothing. The rest area appears on the right. It's a small one, a brick building with bathrooms, a couple picnic tables, a parking lot. There are 3 cars in the lot, but they look abandoned. One has all its doors open. I pull in slowly, watching for movement. Don't see any. I park near the building where I can make a quick exit if needed. The front of my truck is smashed up from hitting that infected person. The windshield has a huge crack radiating out from the center. Some of the glass is missing. There's blood and hair stuck in the grill. I get out with my weapons and approach the building. The door to the men's room is hanging off its hinges. I check inside. Empty. Smells bad, but empty. The women's room is locked from the inside. I knock. Hello? Anyone in there? No answer. I try the door to the main building. It opens into a small lobby area with vending machines and a tourist information desk. The vending machines have been smashed open. Most of the snacks are gone, but there are a few bags of chips left and some candy bars. I take them all. There's a maintenance closet that's unlocked. Inside I find some tools, a first aid kit that's mostly empty, and a jug of antifreeze. I'm about to leave when I hear it. A sound from somewhere in the building. A scratching sound. I freeze. The building is small, just this lobby, the bathrooms, and one back room that says, "Employees only." The scratching is coming from the back room. Every survival instinct says to leave. Get back in my truck and go. But I'm low on supplies, and there might be useful stuff in that back room. Food, water, who knows what else. I approach the door with my crowbar ready. Put my ear against it and listen. Definitely scratching. Like fingernails on wood. And breathing. Raspy and wet. Could be infected. Could be someone hurt and scared. I grip the crowbar tight and slowly turn the handle. The door swings open and the smell hits me first. That rotting meat smell mixed with something else. Something chemical. The room is dark. I can barely see inside. But there's movement. Something shifting in the shadows. Hello? I say. My voice sounds weak. The movement stops. Then I hear a voice. A man's voice. Please help me. I'm hurt. I can't move. I hesitate. After the child mimic, I don't trust voices anymore. Step into the light where I can see you, I say. I can't. My legs, something's wrong with my legs. I pull out my phone and turn on the flashlight. Point it into the room. A man is sitting against the far wall. He's maybe 40, wearing highway patrol uniform. There's blood all over his shirt and pants. His face is pale, covered in sweat. His legs are bent at angles that aren't natural. Broken. Badly broken. Oh, thank God, he says when he sees me. I've been here for 2 days, maybe longer. I lost track. I take a step into the room, still holding the crowbar. What happened to you? Accident. I was chasing some looters and my car went off the road. Rolled. I crawled here, but I couldn't go any farther. Radio's dead. Phone's dead. I thought I was going to die here. He looks genuinely hurt, genuinely relieved to see me, but I keep my guard up. Are you bit? I ask. Infected? No, I swear. Just broken legs, maybe some ribs. I can barely breathe. I move closer, shining my light over him. I don't see any bite marks. His injuries look real. But there's something about the way he's sitting, the way his arms are positioned. What's your name? I ask. Virgil. Virgil Kirsch. What's yours? Halston. Halston. Good name. Listen, I know this is asking a lot, but can you help me to your vehicle? Get me to a hospital or somewhere safe. I can't walk, but if you help me, I can make it. I study him. His legs really are destroyed. If he's infected, he's doing a hell of a job hiding it. But something feels off. I can't place what it is. Where were you when the outbreak started? I ask. On patrol. I saw the first reports, tried to respond. Everything went to hell fast. I've been fighting my way through it ever since until the accident. Where's your gun? He pauses. Just for a second. Lost it in the crash. Why? Just asking. I shine my light around the room. There's a lot of blood. Too much blood from just broken legs. And now that I look closer, I can see it's old blood. Days old. The same blood that's on his uniform. Nothing fresh. If he's been bleeding out for 2 days, he should be dead by now. You're not hurt, are you? I say quietly. His face changes. The pain and relief drop away like a mask, and underneath is something cold. Empty. Smart boy, he says. His voice is different now. Still human, but wrong somehow. I back toward the door and he moves. Despite the broken legs, despite the impossible angles, he moves. Launches himself at me with his horrible clicking scream. I swing the crowbar. It connects with his shoulder and he goes down, but he's grabbing for my leg, his fingers like claws. I kick free and run out of the room, slamming the door behind me. He hits it from the other side, screaming, pounding. I run through the lobby to my truck, get inside and lock the doors. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely get the key in the ignition. The door of the rest area building bursts open, and the thing that was pretending to be Virgil Kirsch comes out. He's crawling like the woman at the gas station, his broken legs dragging behind him. But he's fast. So fast. I get the truck started and peel out of the parking lot as he reaches the vehicle. His hand slaps against my door, leaving a smear of old blood. I don't look back. Just drive. Miles pass. The sun is setting again, painting the sky in oranges and reds that would be beautiful if I wasn't so terrified. The infected are getting smarter. They're learning to mimic, learning to trap. How long before they learn other things? How to open doors, how to use weapons. I can't stop thinking about it. Can't stop seeing that thing's face when it dropped the mask and showed me what it really was. The highway stretches ahead endlessly. I pass more abandoned cars, more small towns that look empty. I see infected wandering in the distance, but none that come near the road. Around midnight, I have to stop. I'm nodding off at the wheel, swerving between lanes. I'll crash if I don't rest. I find a bridge, one of those old overpasses above a dry creek bed. I pull off onto the shoulder and park under the bridge where my truck isn't visible from the road. I climb into the bed of the truck with my supplies and weapons. Lay down and stare up at the concrete underside of the bridge. Sleep doesn't come easy. Every sound makes me tense up. But eventually, exhaustion wins, and I drift off. I dream about Dorsey. We're in our old apartment, and she's packing boxes, getting ready to leave. I'm trying to apologize for whatever I did that made her go, but I can't remember what it was. She won't look at me. You should have fought harder, she says. You should have tried. I did try, I say. I tried everything. Not hard enough. She picks up a box and walks toward the door. I follow her, but the apartment gets longer and longer, the door getting farther away. She's walking away from me, and I'm running, but I can't catch up. Dorsey, please, don't go. Don't leave me alone. She finally stops and turns around. But it's not Dorsey anymore. It's the child mimic. It smiles at me with too many teeth. You're already alone, it says. You've always been alone. I wake up gasping. It's still dark. I check my phone. 3:30 a.m. I've only been asleep for a couple hours. I sit up in the truck bed and try to calm my breathing. It was just a dream. Just a dream. But the words stick with me. You're already alone. It's true. I am alone. My mom and dad might be alive, but I have no way to reach them. Dorsey could be dead. Everyone I ever knew could be dead. I'm alone in a world that's trying to kill me. The thought is overwhelming. I feel this pressure building in my chest, this need to scream or cry or do something to release it. But I stay quiet. Can't make noise, never make noise. I force myself to breathe slowly, to think about next steps. I can't fall apart. Not now. I need to find a safe place, somewhere I can stay for more than a few hours, somewhere with supplies and defensible positions. Maybe other survivors who aren't infected or insane. But where? I pull out my phone and check the map app even though I know there's no signal. The map shows my last known location before the cell towers went down. I was east of Greatton on Highway 61, heading toward... nothing really. Small towns, farmland. Eventually, the road would hit the state border, but that's hundreds of miles. Wait. There's something on the map. A state park about 80 miles east of my current position. Milbrook State Park. I've never been there, but I remember seeing ads for it. Camping, hiking, a lake. State parks have cabins, ranger stations. They're usually remote with limited access points. Could be a good place to hole up. I make my decision. At first light, I'll head for Milbrook. I try to sleep more, but can't. So I sit in the truck bed and watch the stars. They're brighter than I've ever seen them. Without city lights. Without any lights, really. The sky is full of them. The Milky Way is a river of light stretching overhead. It's beautiful. The world is ending, and the sky has never been more beautiful. Dawn comes slowly. The sky lightens to gray, then pink, then blue. Birds start singing. I can hear them in the scrubby trees along the creek bed. It's such a normal sound that it makes me want to cry. I eat some beef jerky and drink water. Piss off the side of the bridge, then I get back in my truck and continue east. The highway is empty. I make good time, going maybe 70 in a 55 zone. What are they going to do? Ticket me? I pass a school bus that's been overturned in a field. See a farmhouse burning in the distance, black smoke rising into the morning sky. Pass a car with all its windows smashed in, dried blood on the seats. But I don't see any infected. Not for miles. It's like they've all congregated somewhere else. Around 10 a.m., I see the sign. Milbrook State Park, 5 miles. I take the exit onto a smaller road that winds through forest. The trees are thick here, blocking out most of the sunlight. It's cooler in the shade, almost pleasant. The park entrance appears on the left. There's a ranger station with a gate across the road. The gate is open. I drive through slowly, watching for any sign of infected. The ranger station looks empty, but I stop anyway to check it out. The building is small, just one room with a desk and some maps on the walls. There's a backpack on the floor, contents spilled out. Somebody left in a hurry. I find a park map and study it. There are 6 cabins spread around the lake, numbered 1 through 6. There's a main lodge, a boat dock, some hiking trails. The whole park is about 2 square miles. I take the map and get back in my truck. Follow the road deeper into the park. The lake appears through the trees. It's maybe a mile across, surrounded by forest. The water is still and dark. I can see the dock on the far side. Cabin 1 is first. It's small, maybe 2 rooms. The door is locked. I peek through the windows but can't see much inside. Looks empty. Cabin 2 is similar. Also locked, also apparently empty. Cabin 3 has a broken window. I approach with my crowbar ready. The door is unlocked. I push it open and step inside. The cabin is trashed. Furniture overturned, food scattered on the floor. There's blood on the wall near the bedroom door. A lot of blood. I back out and move on. Cabins 4 and 5 are locked up tight. Cabin 6 is at the far end of the lake, isolated from the others. It's bigger than the rest. 2 stories with a deck overlooking the water. The door is unlocked. I go inside carefully. The cabin is clean, neat, like someone was staying here recently and left everything in order. There's a kitchen with a gas stove, a living room with a fireplace, 2 bedrooms upstairs. The furniture is nice, relatively new. I check every room, every closet. No signs of infected, no signs of struggle. In the kitchen, I find canned food in the cupboards. A lot of it. Soup, vegetables, beans, fruit, bottles of water. The fridge is empty, but there are ice chests in the pantry. Upstairs, I find clothes in one of the bedrooms. Men's clothes, about my size. And in the closet, jackpot, a hunting rifle, and a box of ammunition. Someone was living here, preparing. Maybe they had the right idea about getting away from people before things got bad. I wonder where they are now, why they left. And I go out on the deck and look at the lake. From here, I can see most of the park, the other cabins, the lodge, the dock. No movement anywhere, no sound except birds and wind in the trees. This could work. This could actually work. I spend the rest of the day fortifying cabin 6. I board up the windows on the first floor using wood from the shed out back. Leave the upstairs windows clear so I can see out. I bring all my supplies inside and inventory what I have combined with what was already here. Food, maybe 2 weeks if I'm careful. Water, a week, but the lake is right there. I'll have to boil it, but that's doable. Weapons, knife, crowbar, tire iron, hunting rifle with 20 rounds. I test the gas stove. Still works. There must be a propane tank outside feeding it. As the sun sets, I allow myself to feel something like hope. This place is remote, defensible. I have supplies and weapons. I could survive here for weeks, maybe months if I'm smart about it. I make myself soup on the stove, actual hot food. It tastes incredible after days of beef jerky and chips. I eat slowly, savoring every bite. Then I go upstairs and watch the darkness fall over the lake. The stars come out again, reflected in the water. It's so quiet, so peaceful. For the first time since this all started, I feel like I might be safe. That's when I hear the singing. It's coming from somewhere across the lake. A woman's voice, high and clear, singing something I don't recognize. The words are strange, not English. The melody is beautiful and haunting. I grab the rifle and go out on the deck. The singing continues. It's coming from the direction of the lodge. I watch the lodge through the rifle scope. Can't see anything in the dark. But the singing goes on. Then it stops, abruptly, mid-word. The silence that follows is worse than the singing. I stay on the deck for an hour, watching. Nothing moves, no more sounds. Eventually, I go back inside and lock the door, push a dresser in front of it, go upstairs and lie down on the bed with the rifle next to me. I don't sleep, just lie there in the dark, listening. Around midnight, I hear footsteps on the deck below, slow and deliberate. Something is walking around the cabin. I move to the window and look down. Can't see anything. The footsteps continue. They circle the cabin once, twice, then stop at the front door. The door handle rattles. Something is trying to get in. I raise the rifle, aiming at the door. My hands are steady. Finger on the trigger, the rattling stops. The footsteps move away, back around the cabin. Then silence. I stay at the window until dawn, rifle ready. But nothing else happens. When morning light fills the cabin, I go downstairs and move the dresser. Open the door carefully. There are footprints on the deck. Bare feet, human-sized, but the toes are too long. The prints lead to the edge of the deck, then stop, like whatever made them jumped into the lake. I look at the water. It's perfectly still. Nothing breaks the surface. I go back inside and lock the door again. This place isn't safe after all. Nothing is safe. I spend the day preparing to leave. Pack up the supplies, load the rifle. I'll head out at dusk, less chance of being seen. Keep moving east, find somewhere else. But as I'm packing, I hear engines again. Multiple vehicles approaching the park. I go to the upstairs window and see them coming down the park road. 4 trucks, 2 vans. They pull up to the lodge and people get out. Real people, survivors. There are maybe 20 of them. Men, women, a few kids. They're armed with rifles and shotguns. They move in formation, clearing the lodge room by room. Once they've secured it, they start unloading supplies from the vehicles. Food, water, weapons. They're setting up camp. I watch them for a while, trying to decide what to do. Part of me wants to run down there and join them. Other people? Safety in numbers. But another part remembers what my mom said. Don't trust anyone. I'm still debating when one of them looks up at my cabin. points, says something to the others. They all turn and look at cabin 6. At me. One of them raises a bullhorn. You in cabin 6? We know you're there. We saw your truck. Come on out. We're not going to hurt you. I stay at the window, not moving. We're survivors, the voice continues. Like you. We're trying to rebuild. Work together. There's safety in numbers. Come talk to us at least. I don't respond. Something about this feels wrong. Suit yourself, the voice says. But you can't hide forever. We need to clear all the buildings. Make sure there's no infected. We'll be coming up there eventually. Better if you just come down now. They wait a few minutes. Then they go back to unloading supplies. But I notice 2 of them stay focused on my cabin. Watching, I'm trapped again. If I try to leave in my truck, they'll see me. If I stay here, they'll eventually come for me. I need a third option. I look at the lake. It's maybe 100 yards to the opposite shore. I'm not a great swimmer, but I could make it. And my truck, I'll have to leave it. Take what I can carry and swim across, disappear into the forest. I pack a backpack with essentials. Food, water, the ammunition. Tie the rifle to the pack so it'll stay dry. Put my knife in a waterproof bag I found in the cabin. Wait until dark. The sun takes forever to set. I watch the people at the lodge. They're setting up tents, starting fires. It almost looks normal, like a camping trip. But the guards never stop watching my cabin. When full dark finally comes, I slip out the back door. Stay low as I move to the edge of the deck. The lake is black and still below me. I lower myself into the water as quietly as possible. It's cold, shockingly cold, but I start swimming, doing a slow breaststroke that barely ripples the surface. Behind me, I hear voices. Someone saw me leave. I swim faster. My clothes are heavy, dragging me down. The backpack is heavier, but I keep going. Shouts from the shore. Flashlights sweeping across the water. They're looking for me. I dive under, holding my breath, swim underwater for as long as I can, surface gasping for air, dive again. I'm halfway across when I hear the boat motor start. They're coming after me. I see the shore ahead. Closer, almost there. The boat is gaining. I can hear it cutting through the water behind me. My feet touch bottom. I stand and run through the shallows, water streaming off me. Make it to the trees just as the boat reaches the shore. Someone jumps out and chases me into the forest. I run hard, branches whipping my face. My lungs are burning. I can hear him behind me, getting closer. I turn and swing the rifle around. He stops when he sees it pointed at him. "Easy," he says, hands up. "Just want to talk." He's young, maybe 20, skinny with shaggy hair. Doesn't look dangerous, but I keep the rifle trained on him. "Why are you running?" he asks. "We're the good guys." "I don't know that," I say. My voice is shaking. "I don't know you." "Fair enough. But out here alone, you're dead. You know that, right? There's strength in numbers. We're trying to rebuild some kind of society. We need people like you. People like me? Survivors. Smart enough to make it this far? We're heading to a settlement. Well, trying to start one. We heard there's a military base about 200 miles east. They're setting up a safe zone. We're going there. You should come with us." I don't lower the rifle. "How do I know you're telling the truth?" He shrugs. "You don't. But what's your alternative? Keep running until you run out of supplies. Until the infected find you. You can't do this alone forever." He's right. I know he's right. But I still can't bring myself to trust him. "Think about it," he says. I'll go back and tell the others you need time. We're staying at the lodge for a few days, gathering supplies. You change your mind, come find us. If not, we'll leave you alone." He backs away slowly, then turns and jogs toward the lake. I hear the boat start up again, motor fading as it returns to the other shore. I stand there in the dark forest, dripping wet, still holding the rifle. What do? I find a spot under a dense pine tree and huddle there for the night. Can't risk a fire. Can't risk anything that might give away my position. The temperature drops, and I'm shivering in my wet clothes. I strip down and wring them out as best I can, then put them back on damp. It's miserable. I don't sleep. Just sit there thinking about what the kid said. A military base. A safe zone. It sounds too good to be true. But what if it's real? What if there's somewhere safe and I'm too paranoid to find it? Morning comes and I'm stiff and sore and exhausted. I eat some wet crackers from my backpack and drink lake water that probably has parasites in it. From my position in the trees, I can see the lodge across the lake. The people there are moving around, organizing. I watch them through the rifle scope. They don't look like raiders or cannibals or whatever I was worried about. They look like regular people trying to survive. Maybe I should talk to them, at least hear them out. Or maybe that's how they get you. Make you comfortable, make you trust them, and then... I can't finish the thought. I don't know what I'm afraid they'll do. I just know I'm afraid. Around noon, I see a commotion at the lodge. People running, pointing at something. I follow their line of sight and see smoke rising from the south. A lot of smoke, fire, something big is burning. Then I hear the sound. Thousands of them, infected, moving through the forest toward the lake. The people at the lodge hear it too. They start scrambling, loading into vehicles. But it's too late. The infected are pouring out of the trees on the south side of the lake. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. I watch in horror as the horde reaches the lodge. The survivors try to fight, but they're overwhelmed in minutes. Gunshots echo across the water. Screaming, the wet sounds of feeding. Some of them make it to vehicles and drive away, but most don't. The horde spreads out around the lake, shambling in all directions. Some head toward cabin 6, others toward the other cabins, and some cross the lake, wading into the water. They're coming toward my side, toward me. I grab my backpack and run. Run deep into the forest, away from the lake, away from the park. Branches scratch my face and arms. I trip over roots and rocks, but keep going. Behind me, I can hear them in the water, splashing, moaning. I run until my legs give out, collapse behind a fallen log, and gasp for air. My heart is hammering so hard it hurts. When I can breathe again, I listen. Can't hear the infected anymore. Either I outran them or they gave up. I check my surroundings. I'm deep in the forest now, no trails or landmarks visible. I pull out my phone, but the battery is dead. Got soaked in the lake. I'm lost. I pick a direction and start walking. East, I think, toward the military base that might not even exist. What else can I do? Hours pass. The forest all looks the same. Trees and more trees. I find a small stream and follow it, hoping it leads somewhere. The sun is setting when I finally see something through the trees. A structure, man-made. I approach carefully. It's an old hunting blind, elevated platform with a small shed. Abandoned. I climb up and check it out. The shed is dirty but intact. There's even a sleeping bag inside, musty but usable. This will do for tonight. I settle in as darkness falls. Wrap myself in the sleeping bag and eat some peanut butter from my pack. It's not much, but it's something. Through the small window of the shed, I can see stars. I try to find comfort in them, like I did before. But all I feel is alone. You're already alone. You've always been alone. The child mimic's words echo in my head. Maybe it was right. Maybe I was always going to end up here, alone in a hunting blind in the middle of nowhere, running from death, running from life, just running. I close my eyes and try to sleep. Tomorrow, I'll keep moving, keep surviving, because that's all there is now. Just one more day, then another, until there are no more days left. The sound that wakes me isn't human. It's something between a growl and a wheeze, coming from the base of the hunting blind. I freeze in the sleeping bag, barely breathing. Moonlight is streaming through the window, casting everything in silver and shadow. The sound comes again, closer. Something is climbing the ladder to the platform. I reach for the rifle slowly, carefully. My hands find the cold metal. I bring it to my shoulder, aim at the door of the shed. The ladder creaks. Whatever's climbing is heavy, taking its time, then silence. I wait, counting my heartbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. The door explodes inward. It's not infected. It's a bear. A black bear, maybe 300 pounds, with foam around its mouth and eyes that reflect the moonlight like mirrors. The bear is infected. It roars and lunges into the tiny shed. I fire the rifle point blank. The sound is deafening in the confined space. The bear staggers but doesn't go down. I work the bolt, chamber another round. Fire again. This time it drops. The bear's body fills most of the shed, still twitching. I can see the bite marks on its shoulder and neck. Something infected got to it. If animals can get infected. The implications hit me like a physical blow. It's not just people anymore. It's everything. Every mammal, maybe. The whole ecosystem is infected. I can't stay here with a dead bear. The smell will attract more infected, human or otherwise. I grab my pack and climb down from the blind, moving fast. The forest is dark, but my eyes have adjusted. I can make out shapes, shadows. I run. Behind me, I hear howling. Not wolves, not coyotes. Something else, something wrong. I run faster. The trees thin out and I burst into a clearing. There's a road on the other side, cracked asphalt reflecting moonlight. I sprint for it. The howling gets closer. Multiple voices now, converging on my position. I reach the road and look both ways. Empty in both directions. I pick east and run down the center of the road, pack bouncing on my back, rifle clutched in both hands. A shape bursts from the trees behind me. A dog. A big one, maybe a German shepherd. Its fur is matted with blood and its jaw hangs wrong. More dogs follow. 3, 4, 5. A pack. I turn and fire. Miss. Fire again. One of them drops. The others keep coming. I run until my lungs are on fire and my legs are numb. The dogs are fast, faster than me. They're going to catch me. Up ahead I see lights, actual electric lights. A building of some kind. I put everything I have into one final sprint. The dogs are right behind me. I can hear their breathing, smell the rot on them. The building gets closer. It's a gas station. The lights are on. Someone's there. I reach the door and yank it open, throw myself inside, turn and slam the door just as the first dog hits it. The glass cracks but holds. The dogs throw themselves at the door again and again. The glass spider webs. It's not going to hold much longer. Back room, now! I spin around. A woman is standing behind the counter with a shotgun. She's maybe 50, gray hair pulled back, wearing mechanic's coveralls. I run for the back room and she follows, slamming the door behind us. We hear the front glass shatter. The dogs are inside. They throw themselves at the back room door. The woman braces it with her shoulder. "Help me!" she shouts. I drop my pack and put my weight against the door. The dogs are snarling, scratching, pushing. The woman looks around the room. We're in a storage area with metal shelving units full of supplies. She points to the shelving. "Tip it. Block the door." We brace against the nearest unit and push. It tilts more, then crashes over against the door. Cases of oil and antifreeze spill across the floor. The door holds. The dogs keep trying, but they can't push through the barricade. We stand there gasping, backs against the shelving, as the dogs eventually give up. I hear them moving away, out through the broken front glass. The woman slides down to sit on the floor. "I'm Thora," she says, "and you just used up about 3 months' worth of my good luck in one night." I introduce myself, tell her how I got here. The outbreak in Greatton, the diner, the state park, the infected bear and dogs. She listens without interrupting. When I finish, she nods slowly. "Animals got it about 2 days ago," she says. "Started with the pets, dogs, cats, then the livestock, now the wild animals. It's like the infection evolved. Found a way to jump species." "How long have you been here?" I ask. "Since the beginning. I own this place, lived in the apartment upstairs. When things went bad, I locked down. Had enough supplies to last a while. Figured I'd wait it out. Is there anyone else?" She shakes her head. "Not anymore. There was a group that came through 3 days ago. Nice folks. Said they were heading to some military base east of here. Asked me to come with them. I said no. Didn't want to leave my home. Do you regret it?" "Every damn day." She stands and offers me her hand. "Come on. Let's get upstairs where it's safer. We'll figure out the rest in the morning." The apartment is small but comfortable. 1 bedroom, a kitchen, a living room with a couch. All the windows are boarded up from the inside. Thora makes coffee on a camping stove. Real coffee. I almost cry when I taste it. "I've been rationing," she says. "But fuck it. If we're going to die, might as well enjoy the little things." We sit at her kitchen table and drink coffee and talk. She tells me about her life before. She was a mechanic, owned the gas station for 20 years. Never married, no kids. Just her and the business. "I should have had more," she says. "Should have taken risks, traveled, fell in love, something. And now it's too late." "It's not too late," I say, though I'm not sure I believe it. She looks at me with sad eyes. "Kid, the world ended. Everything I knew is gone. Even if we survive this, even if there's a safe zone somewhere, it'll never be the same. The old world is dead. We're just ghosts haunting the ruins." I don't know what to say to that. We finish our coffee in silence. Then Thora shows me to the couch. "Get some sleep," she says. "I'll take first watch. We can figure out a plan tomorrow." I lie down on the couch and close my eyes. For the first time in days, I feel almost safe. There's another person here. Someone capable. Someone who's survived this long. Maybe we can make it together. I sleep deeply and dream of nothing. When I wake up, sunlight is streaming through gaps in the boards over the windows. I can hear movement in the kitchen. I sit up and see Thora making breakfast. Canned hash and eggs from a powder. It smells incredible. "Morning," she says. "Hope you like protein." It's pretty much all I have left. We eat together and discuss our options. Thora has a truck with a full tank. She has weapons and supplies. If we combine what she has with what I have, we might have enough to make it to the military base. It's about 150 miles east, she says. 2 days of driving if we go slow and careful. Maybe 1 day if we're lucky. You think it's real? I ask. The safe zone? Doesn't matter. Staying here isn't an option anymore. The front of my store is destroyed. More infected will come. We need to leave. We spend the morning packing Thora's truck. It's a beast of a vehicle, an old Chevy with a reinforced grille and off-road tires. She's clearly been preparing for something like this, even if she didn't know it. Around noon, we're ready to go. Thora takes one last look at her apartment. 20 years, she says. 20 years in this place, and I'm leaving it behind in 20 minutes. I'm sorry, I say. Don't be. It's just a building. I'm still alive. That's what matters. We climb into the truck, and Thora starts the engine. It roars to life, powerful and loud. Ready? She asks. As I'll ever be. We pull out onto the road and head east. The gas station shrinks in the side mirror, then disappears around a bend. The road is mostly clear. We pass abandoned vehicles, but Thora navigates around them easily. She drives fast but controlled, eyes constantly scanning for threats. We make it maybe 40 miles before we hit the checkpoint. It's a military barricade across the highway. Concrete barriers, sandbags, vehicles parked to form a wall. But there are no soldiers, just bodies in uniform scattered across the road, and infected wandering among the barriers. Thora slows down. What do you think? Can we go around? She checks the map. Road branches off about a mile back. Longer route, but might be safer. We're about to turn around when I see movement on top of one of the vehicles. Someone is up there, waving at us. I point. Thora squints. Is that? The person jumps down from the vehicle and runs toward us. I can see now it's a young woman, maybe 25, in torn fatigues. She's shouting something, but we can't hear through the windows. Infected start moving toward her. She sees them and runs faster. We have to help her, I say. Thora's jaw tightens. It could be a trap. She's going to die. The infected are closing in. The woman is 50 yards away. 40, 30. Thora makes a decision. She guns the engine and drives straight toward the checkpoint. The truck smashes through the barriers, sending concrete chunks flying. Infected bounce off the grill. The woman runs alongside the truck, and I throw open the passenger door. She grabs the handle and hauls herself inside, landing half on top of me. Go, 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 she screams. Thora doesn't need to be told twice. She floors it, and the truck blasts through the rest of the checkpoint, leaving the infected behind. We drive for 5 minutes before Thora slows down. The woman climbs off me and into the back seat, gasping for air. Thank you, she manages. Oh God, thank you. I thought I was dead. What happened back there? Thora asks, eyes on the road. Checkpoint fell 2 days ago. The infected came in a wave, just overwhelming numbers. We tried to hold, but there were too many. I've been hiding in that vehicle ever since, waiting for someone to come. Anyone. Where were you supposed to be going? I ask. East, to Forward Operating Base Talbot. It's the last military stronghold in this region. They're evacuating civilians, setting up a safe perimeter. I was part of the convoy heading there when we got overrun. She gives us coordinates. Thora checks the GPS, which surprisingly still works. That's about 90 miles from here, Thora says. You really think it's still standing? The woman nods. Last I heard it was. They have walls, supplies, enough soldiers to hold off the infected. If anywhere is safe, it's there. Her name is Keely. She's a combat medic, stationed at Talbot before being sent out with the convoy. She tells us what she knows about the outbreak as we drive. It started in the cities, spreading through the population centers in hours. The military tried to contain it, but the infection spread too fast. Martial law was declared. Evacuation centers were set up. Most of them fell within days. The current theory is that it's a virus, something that rewrites brain function and increases aggression and pain tolerance. The infected don't think, not really. They just hunt, feed, spread. And now it's jumped to animals, which means nowhere is truly safe. There are other survivors, Keely says. Scattered groups. Some have banded together, others are alone. The military is trying to coordinate with them, bring everyone to Talbot, create a last stand. How many people are at Talbot? I ask. When I left, about 2,000. Soldiers and civilians. Could be more now, could be less. We drive through the afternoon. The landscape changes from forest to farmland to small towns. Every town looks the same, abandoned, burned, full of bodies and infected. In one town, we see something that stops us cold. A wall made of cars and buses, blocking off an entire neighborhood. Smoke rises from inside the perimeter. Someone's alive in there, Keely says. Thora slows down. We watch the wall for movement. Then a figure appears on top of one of the buses. A man with a rifle. He sees us and aims. A shot cracks past the truck. Thora hits the gas. Not everyone wants to be saved, she mutters. We leave the town behind. As the sun sets, Thora suggests we stop for the night. Find somewhere defensible and rest. We've been on edge all day, and exhaustion is setting in. We find a small church on a hill overlooking the highway. It's old, made of stone with a cemetery out back. The doors are heavy wood with iron reinforcement. We clear the church room by room. It's empty. No infected, no bodies. Just pews and an altar and stained glass windows that cast colored light across the floor. I'll take first watch, Keely volunteers. You two sleep? Thora and I find a room in the back. Probably used to be the priest's office. There's a couch and Thora takes it. I lie down on the floor with my jacket as a pillow. Halston, Thora says in the darkness. You did good today. Helping Keely. That took guts. You're the one who drove through the barricade. Yeah, well, guess we both have our moments. Silence. Then, do you think we'll make it? To Talbot? I want to say yes. Want to give her hope. But I can't lie. I don't know. But I know we're going to try. That's enough, she says. That has to be enough. I close my eyes and drift off to sleep. Sometime in the night, I wake to voices. Angry voices. I sit up and listen. It's coming from the main chapel. I grab my knife and move toward the sound. Keely is arguing with someone. I peek around the corner and see a man standing near the altar. He's dressed in ragged clothes, long beard, wild eyes. This is God's house, he's saying. You have no right to be here. No right. We're just passing through, Keely says, her hand on her sidearm. We'll leave in the morning. The morning? The morning. He laughs, a horrible broken sound. There is no morning. There is only the judgment, the cleansing. The wicked are being purged, and you are wicked. Listen. We don't want trouble. He pulls out a knife, a big hunting knife with a curved blade. I am the shepherd. I protect this flock, and you are wolves. I step into the chapel. There's no flock here, just you. He turns and sees me. His eyes widen. 2 wolves, a pack, hunting together. We're not hunting anything. We're trying to survive. Survival. He spits the word. Survival is sin. We are meant to die, to be cleansed, to return to the earth. Thora appears with her shotgun. The man sees it and backs toward the altar. 3 wolves now. A true pack. But I am protected. The Lord protects his shepherd. Nobody's going to hurt you, Thora says. Just put down the knife and leave. We'll be gone in the morning. This is my church. It's not your church. It's nobody's church. The world ended. Get over it. The man's face twists with rage. He raises the knife and charges at Thora. She fires. The blast echoes in the stone chapel. The man falls, the knife clattering across the floor. We stand there in silence, ears ringing. Is he dead? Keely asks. Thora walks over and checks, nods. I didn't want to. She starts, then stops. I didn't want to. He didn't give you a choice, I say. We drag the body outside and leave it in the cemetery. It seems fitting somehow. None of us sleep for the rest of the night. We sit in the chapel and wait for dawn. When morning comes, we leave without speaking. Get in the truck and drive. Thora is quiet. I can tell the shooting is weighing on her. She's killed infected before, probably. But this was different. This was a person. Crazy, maybe dangerous, but still a person. We're all carrying deaths now, the weight of them. Around midday, we see a sign, Forward Operating Base Talbot, 20 miles. Almost there, Keely says. She sounds relieved. The road ahead is clearer here. Fewer abandoned vehicles. We pass a convoy of military trucks, burned out and empty. Then a field full of bodies in uniform. They tried to evacuate, Keely says quietly. Didn't make it. The base appears on the horizon. Massive concrete walls, guard towers, vehicles visible inside. The gate is closed. We approach slowly. Thora honks the horn. Nothing happens. No response from the towers. No movement at the gate. Thora honks again. Something's wrong, I say. Keely pulls out binoculars and scans the walls. I don't see anyone. No guards, no movement. We get closer. The gate is damaged, bent inward like something smashed against it from the outside. There's blood on the concrete. A lot of blood. We need to leave, Thora says. Now. But before she could turn the truck around, infected appear from the base. They pour out through gaps in the gate, through breaks in the wall. Dozens, hundreds. They see us and start running. Thora throws the truck in reverse and floors it. We shoot backward down the road as the horde chases us. One of the infected jumps onto the hood. Keely shoots it through the windshield. Glass explodes inward. Thora swerves and the body falls off. We keep going in reverse until we're far enough ahead. Then she spins the truck around and we drive forward, away from the base, away from our last hope. We drive for miles in silence. Finally, Thora pulls over on the shoulder, turns off the engine. That's it then, she says. The base is gone. There's no safe zone, no rescue. Keely is crying quietly in the back seat. I stare out at the empty highway and try to think of something to say. Some words of comfort or hope. I can't find any. What do we do now? I ask. Nobody answers. We sit there until the sun sets. 3 survivors in a truck with nowhere left to go. And somewhere in the distance, the infected are still hunting, still spreading, still taking over the world piece by piece. The eerie silence that follows is the worst part. No plan, no destination, no hope. Just the 3 of us in the growing darkness. Thora finally breaks it. There's one more place we could try. Keely looks up. Where? North, about 200 miles. Before all this, I heard rumors. Preppers had set up a compound in the mountains. Self-sufficient, fortified. They saw something like this coming. That's a lot of miles on rumors, I say. You got a better idea? I don't. We drive through the night, taking turns at the wheel. The roads get worse the farther north we go. More winding, more mountainous. The truck strains on the inclines. Around dawn we run into snow. Just flurries at first, then heavier. The road becomes slick. I don't like this, Thora says from the driver's seat. We could get stuck up here. But what choice do we have? Behind us is nothing. Ahead might be nothing too, but at least it's somewhere we haven't been. The snow gets deeper. Thora slows to a crawl. We're climbing a narrow mountain road with a cliff face on one side and a sheer drop on the other. That's when the truck dies. Just sputters and quits, right there on the mountain. Thora tries to restart it. Nothing. Tries again. Not even a click. What's wrong? Keely asks. I don't know. Could be the alternator. Could be the battery. Could be the fucking snow jammed up in the engine. She slams her hand against the wheel. We're stuck. We sit there trying to figure out our options. We have supplies for maybe a week if we stretch them. We have weapons. But we're in the middle of nowhere in a snowstorm. We walk, I say. They both look at me. We can't stay in the truck. We'll freeze. We need to find shelter. In this? Thora gestures at the whiteout conditions outside. You see another option? We pack what we can carry. Food, water, weapons, warm clothes. Leave the rest. The cold hits like a fist when we step outside. The wind is howling, driving snow into our faces. Visibility is maybe 10 feet. We start walking up the road, staying close together. If we get separated in this, we're dead. Hours pass, maybe. It's hard to tell time in the storm. Everything is white and cold and brutal. Keely falls first, just collapses in the snow. Thora and I get her up, support her between us, keep moving. Then Thora's strength gives out. We're all stumbling now, barely conscious. I see something ahead, a dark shape through the snow, a building. There, I shout over the wind. We stagger toward it. It's a cabin, small but solid. The door is unlocked. We fall inside and I slam the door against the wind. The cabin is dark and cold, but it's shelter. Thora finds a fireplace. I find wood stacked in a corner. We get a fire going and huddle around it, shivering violently. As warmth slowly returns, I look around the cabin. One room with a bed, a table, some chairs, supplies on shelves, canned food, water in jugs, and weapons. Lots of weapons. Someone lived here, Keely says through chattering teeth. Recently. She's right. There's fresh ash in the fireplace, blankets on the bed that aren't dusty, but no one's here now. We sleep by the fire, too exhausted to keep watch. When I wake, the storm has passed. Sunlight streams through the window. The others are still sleeping. I step outside and my breath catches. The cabin sits on a ridge overlooking a valley, and in the valley below, I can see it. A compound. Massive walls made of logs and earth. Guard towers, buildings inside. Smoke rising from chimneys, and people. I can see people moving around. Thora, I call. Keely, you need to see this. They come outside and stand beside me, staring at the compound. Is that it? Keely asks. The prepper compound? Has to be. It's beautiful, Thora says. It is. After everything we've been through, after all the death and horror, seeing this place full of life is overwhelming. We make our way down the mountain toward the compound. It takes most of the day, picking our way through snow and rocks. As we get closer, we see the walls are even more impressive up close. 30 feet high, reinforced with metal and concrete. The gates are massive. We approach and someone calls from a tower. "Stop right there. Identify yourselves." "We're survivors," I shout back. "From the east. We're looking for shelter." "Are any of you infected?" "No." "Are you armed?" "Yes, but we're not hostile." Silence. Then the voice says, "Leave your weapons on the ground and step back. If you're telling the truth, you can come in. If not, we'll put you down." We look at each other. It's a risk. But we've come this far. We place our weapons on the ground and step back with our hands up. The gates open. A group of people come out, all armed. They check us over, search us thoroughly. One of them draws blood from each of us. "Testing for infection," he explains. "Results take 10 minutes. If you're clean, welcome home." We wait. The longest 10 minutes of my life. Finally, a woman approaches. She's in her 60s with gray hair and kind eyes. "You're clean," she says. "All three of you. Welcome to Sanctuary. I'm Larkin. I help run this place." Relief washes over me so intense I almost collapse. "Come on," Larkin says. "Let's get you inside. Fed. Warm. You look like you've been through hell." We follow her through the gates into the compound. Inside, it's like another world. People are working, building, living. Children are playing. There's a garden, livestock, workshops. "How many people are here?" Thora asks. "About 300. We were building this place before the outbreak. When things fell apart, people found us. We've been growing ever since." She shows us to a building with dormitories. "Get cleaned up, rest. We'll talk more tonight at dinner. Right now, you need to take care of yourselves." I shower for the first time in weeks. Put on clean clothes, eat real food in a real dining hall surrounded by real people who aren't trying to kill me. It feels like a dream. That night, we sit with Larkin and some of the other compound leaders. They want to know everything. Where we came from, what we saw, what we know about the outbreak. We tell them, all of it. The infected getting smarter, the animals turning, the bases falling. "It's bad out there," one of the leaders says. "Worse than we thought." "But we're safe here," Larkin says. "We have walls, supplies, weapons. We can survive this." I want to believe her, but I've learned that nowhere is truly safe. Still, for now, I let myself rest. Let myself believe. Maybe we made it. Maybe we actually made it. Days pass. I settle into life at Sanctuary. I'm assigned to maintenance work, helping repair walls and buildings. Thora works in the garage, fixing vehicles. Keely works in the medical bay. We're alive. We're safe. But at night, I still dream of the infected, the child mimic, the crawling woman, the bear. And sometimes I wake up certain that I can hear scratching on the walls. Nothing lasts forever. But maybe this will last long enough. That's all I can hope for. One day at a time, one night at a time. Surviving. Always surviving. Because that's what we do. That's all we can do. Until the end comes for us too. And in this new world, the end is always waiting. Always watching, always getting closer. Thanks for listening to the story, guys. I will be back with another interesting story. Till then, subscribe to Doomsday Aftermath.